Hello Internet, welcome back to our Cataclysm golf scenario playthrough. In the last few episodes we've been clearing this area of town. It's kind of funny actually, every time I log in and have a look here at our character we just see these corpses pretty much everywhere. Like I said, we in a previous episode had the achievement for getting 100 kills. So just in clearing out this tiny little block area right here, we've killed another probably 96 creatures or so, and that does not take into account, I believe, the ones that we burned up in the building. I don't think that those count. So that's probably another, I don't know, eight creatures. We've been experiencing just tons of monster density. It's really been sapping my fun over the last few episodes. It definitely makes things a lot less fun when we're spending all of our time just with tedium trying to clear out the enemies. Oh, we see an angry pupper as well down here. We could perhaps go dispatch that creature, but I think we'll leave it for now. I don't think they're strong enough to break down the chain link fences. So, in the last few episodes, we've been shooting a lot of our M4, and we're really about out of ammunition. We have about 100 rounds left, which is, you know, it's a decent amount of ammunition, but it could be better. Now, really the only way we can take care of that is to destroy the turret. We saw a lethal turret down here. I'm not sure where exactly it was. I believe it was on the left side of this vehicle. I don't remember where exactly in here. Now, that turret contains quite a bit of ammunition that we could desperately use. If we had all the ammo from that turret, we would basically be set for the rest of our game. In clearing out enemies, we could clear out the whole town using our gun. It would be much easier. Problem is that turret can outrange us during the day, which means we can't get close enough to shoot it. And we can go over there in the dark, but it's the same thing in the darkness. Unless we have light amplification goggles, it's going to be able to see us and kill us without us being able to stop it. So I'm trying to think of a way around that. If we had a grenade, we could just come down here in the darkness and throw it. I'm pretty sure this vehicle has boards on it, so we probably could get close to the vehicle and use that as cover. If we had a glow stick, no, their light source is so small. I was going to say if we have some light source, maybe we could throw it over here and we would be blocked from the turret by the vehicle, so it wouldn't be able to see us. Then we could back off, come around and shoot it while we're in the darkness, but it's illuminated. That's really pretty tricky though. Why don't we, when night falls, we'll test out our flashlight, and I want to see if we throw a flashlight, say like 10 squares away, is it still going to illuminate the area around it, or does it only illuminate like one square? I don't know how that works. The other option, I guess we could throw a Molotov. I imagine that they don't burn very easily, but a Molotov is obviously something we can make much easier than a proper grenade. We could very easily source gasoline and glass bottles as well. Many liquors come in these glass bottles, so in fact I'm sure we probably in the car even have some. That mouse cursor out of here, and we'll go back to our vehicle, be in the drink pile, which would be southwest. Sure. So let's have a look. Oh, we dropped some items on the ground as well. Just an empty tin can. I don't care about that. So we're looking for a glass bottle. So here are a couple with maple syrup. We could easily dump that out. I don't value maple syrup very much in the game. Few MREs. Oh, MREs remind me, we actually did see some soldier zombies when we were exploring. I believe at least one. It may have been more. I don't remember. I think it was just one actually. But it was pretty far to the north. I think we were around here and we spotted it. So we could head up there to look for that soldier zombie. They frequently carry grenades on them. Well, somewhat frequently. And they can often drop ammunition as well. Now, there was a change a while back that made soldier zombies much less likely to drop firearms and their ammunition, but it's still possible. What do we have in our inventory? We have the M4. The problem is, if we go up there and start shooting, we haven't cleared this northern area, And so these public gardens, I believe, also contain a lot of monster density. So I'm betting if we go up there, there's probably a ton of enemies. Plus, I see we have a park over here as well. And if we start shooting the soldier zombies, we're very likely to draw more enemies to us. So what we could do is lure the soldiers closer to base, where we could safely shoot them without drawing these enemies. And we really can't fight them with our spear, because our spear has very poor damage against armored creatures. We could use the quarterstaff, but you'll see our left arm is still very severely damaged. I don't understand why they keep hitting my left arm, but it is what it is. So why don't we head up here? Actually, we saw them over here. So let's go back towards where we burned down the building, and we'll have a look around. I suppose we should get a question as well, so we have something to talk about. Scroll, scroll, click. What was the last thing you watched online? Well, this morning when I got up, I watched Cinema Sins cover... What's that movie called? It's Sean Connery, The Invisible Man. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was a movie I watched as a young lad. Okay, so we do see the soldier zombie to the east. Let's be careful here. There are some more zombies here, which I'm a little concerned about. Well, there are 2 of them. Okay. Well, that's good. That's double the chances of getting a grenade or something. I would like to get eyes on that garden and see if there are more enemies there, or if I'm misremembering. I think gardens have a lot of enemies in them, because that's what this is. And remember, we saw all those enemies come from somewhere and we didn't know where. I think they came from this garden. Maybe from the empty lot below? I don't know what this is. What are you? Small wooded trail. I don't think so. But I'm also not seeing any in this garden. So maybe I am wrong. 2 soldier zombies. Okay, well, I don't want to push up any further this way. Let's wrap around like we were going to go originally, and come up from that side and see if we can lure them towards our base where we can safely shoot at them. Yeah, I watched Cinema Sins do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I'm a big fan of Cinema Sins. Very funny guys, very clever. I love movies, of course, so that's always exciting. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, horrible movie. One of Connery's last movies, I believe, before he retired from acting. Is Sean Connery still alive? The man must be probably 89 years. I'm going to Google this. I have no idea how old Sean Connery is. Sean Connery is 90 years old, born in 1930. How about that? How about that? I haven't seen him in anything in many years. Anyway, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, and I alt-tabbed out, so my mini-map is all screwed up. That's okay. Let's see if we can draw the attention of these soldier zombies. They don't seem very interested in us. It looks like they have worse vision than the fat zombie, because the fat zombie has spotted us. It still looks clear up here, so maybe we can just shoot them. I would rather lure them back towards base just to be safe. And of course, we can take the fat zombie with our spear. I don't think that was the last video I watched, though. I feel like I watched something after that. When I first wake up every day, I'm struggling to shake off the effects of my sleep medication. So I really can't accomplish much for like the first half hour after I wake up. So I usually just, you know, like I get up, I smoke a cigarette, and then pop over and watch something on YouTube, maybe have a coffee or a tea or something while I'm trying to wake up. I'm actually trying to find lower sugar alternatives. So currently I'm drinking diet cranberry juice. Only contains 7% juice, huh? It's only got 1 gram of sugar, however, which is the main draw. It's pretty impossible to find cranberry juice that's not loaded with sugar. And they only sell diet cranberry juice in these small bottles for some reason. I don't know why that is. Like, I guess nobody wants to buy a big bottle of diet cranberry juice. Anyway, it's delicious. Trying to quit drinking coffee and sugary tea and things like that. Ignore. Just deal with this soldier zombie. He is heavy arterial blood, so let's just back off and let him bleed to death. Are we in pain? We're in mild pain, but our speed is not super negatively affected. Okay, Please have grenades. Oh, he has grenades. That's great. That will enable us to kill that turret, although it will be dangerous to do so. Maybe we'll do that. Should we do that now? We'd have to wait for night. Maybe next episode. We'd have to wait for nighttime. Take the MREs, of course. I don't know about picking up wallets. I keep picking them up, but I don't think they're actually very good. But those grenades, really good to have. That will enable us to deal with that turret very easily. So let's pop in here and drop our newfound goodies. What else did I watch? I watched a forging video. So one of the things I watch, there's a guy, I mean, there are many people who do this, I guess, but there's a guy he takes, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, or I would tell you. I hate mentioning YouTube people and then not remembering their name, because I feel like I should be giving them credit and I just never remember. But there's a guy I watch who, you know, just forges. He'll take random scrap pieces of metal and forge them into little ingots and coins and things like that. And I think that's really fascinating. It seems like a hobby I would pick up if I were wealthier, if I had money. I feel like that's something I would really enjoy doing. Okay, we do see another dot up here. Where did you go? I saw another dot. Oh, it's a rabbit. No, that's not what I was looking at. I saw a dot up there on the mini-map. Fat zombie. So we are seeing, where are you guys? Okay, you're in the park. You're in the park. Okay, so there are zombies up there. I don't think they're spawning from that little park area. They must be coming from something to the north. I do think subway stations, although they don't always have zombies, I do think they have a chance to spawn quite a few zombies. But I don't think that's probably where they're coming from. I'm wondering what's up here. That is probably where this monster density is coming from. And I don't know about pushing up far enough to get that attention from the other enemies. So we're just going to fall back. We're going to bring this soldier zombie back towards base, just like we did with the last one. Just taking things nice and cautious, nice and safe. We really don't want to keep exposing ourselves to serious injury or possible death, things like that. Is that dog still trapped? The fence looks intact, so it should be. Let's go ahead and grab our rifle and pop off a few rounds here. I would love to get you up to a critical, so we're going to let him step one more. And how are you bleeding? Minor bleeding. Okay, so we're going to back off here. And we'll just hit him again. We don't need to wait for a critical this time. Really, you're still not that injured. Bad bleeding on torso. So we will just finish him off with some shooting. Heavy artillery. He should die now. So let's just kite him until he bleeds to death. Sort of terrible, right? Like, we basically injure someone. I mean, it's a zombie, but still. We injure a zombie until it's basically bleeding to death, and then we just watch it as we walk away, and it slowly bleeds to death. It's pretty horrible, right? Another entrenching tool, very common loot for them. Two-way radio. Unfortunately, the battery is pretty messed up, and it's disposable, so that's not super valuable. We will take a military ID card, although they don't have a whole lot of uses in the game. Didn't we see a military location in this playthrough as we were driving away? Or was that in a different series? Now, right here, no, that's a substation. Didn't we see a military... Here's a helipad. I don't know if there's anything that needs a military ID card at a helipad. We would be looking for... golf course. We would be looking for something like a military outpost, I believe they're called. I haven't seen or been in one of those in a really long time. Campground? No. Okay. So we didn't really get anything of value off of this guy, although his ESAPI vest is in pretty great condition. Normally I don't wear these kind of out of protest because they're way too powerful, but I've also been getting torn up a lot. Maybe we should grab this. And it's in such good condition. We probably should. Probably should take that. Everything else, not really interesting. We do have a holster. Oh, you have a gun in your holster. Wait a minute. Did you have a holster too? No. I wonder how many guns I missed because I didn't see them in a holster. Let's take that out of the holster. Where's the holster? It's an M17. I'm not really familiar with that sidearm. Let's unload the holster. Oh, it was already in my inventory. So it's a 9x19. I don't think we have any 9 mil, but yeah, we'll take that for sure. From the Sig Sauer. Okay. Huh. I wonder how many creatures I've missed that had holsters and I didn't even realize they had a gun in them. That's kind of a bummer to think about, because I imagine I missed quite a few. Anyway, I like forging videos. It's something that I think I would enjoy if I had a little bit of money and you know, free time. I think even something simple like just making ingots, or like I have a niece, you know, maybe I could mint some coins, you know, that have her name on it or something for her birthday, you know, that sort of thing. Just seems like a fun, interesting thing. And honestly, it's very soothing to watch someone pour like liquid aluminum. I don't know why, you know, or like a Nordic gold or aluminum bronze or whatever. Just pretty. It's just pretty to look at liquid metal. So yeah, I've been watching some. So there's a thing called AuthorTube. It's basically a collection of authors on YouTube who make YouTube content. I've been watching some of that. Honestly, it just makes me kind of discouraged. I've been trying to get back into writing over the last like week or so. I've been trying to invest more time in writing, and I was like, oh, you know, I'll go watch some YouTube videos of people talking about writing, and try to get in that headspace so I can just sort of, you know, get back to basics and start to experience this stuff again. I didn't realize there was stuff here. We're going to take all of this, and presumably there's even more. Man, turnout coat's pretty good. I'm surprised their values are so low for bash and cut, because they are very durable material. I wonder why that is. Again, Kevin recently redid some of these numbers, so that's probably why. And I don't know if that's still a work in progress or if he's done. Maybe that is the new value, and that's what we should get used to expecting. Problem with the turnout coat is that it does not fit by default, and it's a lot of encumbrance. The trousers, though, we can definitely probably put on some trousers. We'll take all this stuff again just because they are pretty valuable. And definitely take a PBA mask. That takes care of our requirement for welding, which is really nice. So what are the items on the floor? Items on ground. Oh, it's just the scrap metal. I see. No, I don't have a huge interest in that at the moment. Is that just an aluminum ingot? Speaking of, no, it's a lump of steel. My mistake. Let's go drop off this clothing. Clothing takes up a lot of inventory space. We're just going to go poke around the town a little bit, see if we can find some goodies. Anyway, listening to some AuthorTube stuff, and I'm not trying to generalize. Like, you can go to YouTube, you can search hashtag AuthorTube or hashtag BookTube. They are two different things. BookTube is more like talking about books, whereas AuthorTube is more like writers specifically talking about writing and publishing and stuff. So you can go right now and search that if you're interested. And I'm not trying to disparage any one particular person. There are a lot of people who make content. I'm just talking for the few videos that I've seen. Don't let me discourage you if that's something you're interested in. But I was watching some of these videos, and it seemed like everyone that I came across was just some rich white lady talking about how easy it is to get published. And it was really frustrating as someone who's never been published. It was frustrating to me to hear a bunch of people talk about publishing like everyone can do it, but then they also say things like, it only cost me like $6,000. And I'm like, okay, so you're gonna make a whole video. Where's my drink pile? Drinks. Two separate drink piles. You're going to make a whole video about how, oh, anyone can get published. You can do it. It's not hard. It's easier than ever to publish. And then your entire video is you saying like, okay, well, you're going to need to spend like $3,000 on editing. And I'm like, lady, that's not for everyone. I can't afford $3,000. How are you going to go from telling me how easy and simple it is and then turn around and be like, oh, you only have to sink $3,000 into it? And it's just crazy to me, you know, hearing these people talk. They're clear. They're so, again, not trying to generalize the whole group of people, but all the videos I saw, it was just a bunch of like wealthy people being like, yeah, anyone can get published if you sink like $6,000 into the process. And not only that, but then they also said things like, and you really can't get published unless you do that. So it's like you start out saying anyone can do it, and then you finish by saying, well, only people with, you know, $6,000 to spend can do it, which is like such a horrible cop out situation. You know, it's like you're either trying to be inspiring or you're trying to give like a reality check or something. You can't just say both things. It really bothered me because I'm someone who, I love writing and I read you know, a fair bit over, you know, any given year. I read a couple of books at least, which is more than plenty of folks. We did pull, by the way, when I moved over there, we pulled a pretty big horde. We did get them stuck in this wreck, but we're just going to continue clearing the town. So that's what we're doing here. And of course we have the M4 if we need it. And so I'm like, you know, I read all these books that are not very good. I do think we might end up having to go to the M4. It looks like our pain is enough that we're slower than we need to be to kite them efficiently. So I read a lot of bad books. So my thought was like, oh, well, obviously anyone can put a book up on Amazon because there are so many really terrible ones that make it up onto Amazon. So I was like, you know, it's easier than ever. It's blah, blah, blah. Super simple. If this, you know, random idiot can put a book up on Amazon, so can I. And so I go, you know, looking on YouTube, like to understand the basics of self-publishing and getting an ebook on Amazon and stuff like that. And all the videos I run into are like, yeah, you can put your book up on Amazon, but you really need to spend thousands of dollars first. And I was very discouraged by that. And I'm not opposed to spending money. What's that? What's this brown blobby thing? Extra light frame. Why are there two frame? Oh, because it's a wreck, I guess. Bicycle horn. Oh, that's a bike that got hit by a bus. That's not great. I'm curious why they're moving off to the left. They must see an animal over there, because they don't seem terribly interested in me anymore. Although that one has seen me. I don't know. I was just expecting like a pick-me-up and kind of a motivational thing, and it just turned into, yeah, you really have to spend money. And I'm not opposed to spending money. You know, if I had my business set up, I would probably be perfectly fine funneling some of that money into a savings type account for getting an editor and things like that. We're going to take this 45 ACP. We did pick up a 1911 in a previous episode, I believe, if we want to head back and check that. So that should fit that 1911. Yep, so that's good. We now have handgun with a decent supply of ammunition. You know, I think it was 40 rounds. I don't remember, 50 rounds, something like that. 30 rounds. Okay, that's fine. It is a 7-round clip in a 1911, so... And the 45 deals more damage than the 9mm. Really, only by 1 point of damage. Really? Why is that? 9mm versus 45? 45 is a much more impactful... I mean, it's a larger round. It's a lower... Isn't it... Okay, you know, I don't know guns. Let's not talk about it so I don't embarrass myself. Whatever, doesn't matter. But anyway, pistols aren't exactly the best gun, you know, firearm in the game anyway. I don't know. I don't mind paying for something like editing. I think it would really benefit me, in fact, to have a developmental editor look at my writing. It's just that can't afford it, you know, even if I went to like Fiverr, because I did look on Fiverr. I mean, it was a while ago because I haven't really had serious thoughts about editing in a while. And for those of you who don't know, basically when you write something, first, like if you do traditional publishing, they'll send you through a whole group of people. Okay, speed is bad, and we're getting grabbed. Did we get bit? Of course we did. Because our pain is pretty high here. I gotta remember. Oh, and I'm also not dropping my backpack like I keep saying I will do. So our encumbrance at 41. Yeah, really need to drop the backpack. Really need to drop the backpack. Okay, let's get our stamina back. We'll go back and treat our bite wound. We're really not making very much progress here. Okay. We're also getting weary. Oh, and so this is actually a big change that happened recently, as far as I know. So if we look here on the weary transition, you'll see I'm lightly weary, and we're not really at moderately weary yet. And then we have this thing that says weary, malice, and activity level. Well, it turns out that fighting is extremely weary, is an extreme activity. And so what that does is it gives you a penalty based on your current weariness that is a multiplier on that action. So if we look here in the weary effect menu, you'll see here that for any activity that is considered extreme, which again, combat is considered extreme, we get a 25% multiplier on every fighting activity that we do. So every single attack I make with the copper spear is going to take 25% more moves than it normally would. Now, if you don't play a lot of Cataclysm, or maybe you're not super into it, or you don't know things very well, 25% is enormous. 25% is a huge penalty to be lightly weary, and get a 25% penalty is too high. You get lightly weary basically just by walking around town for a little while. It's my opinion that this needs to be changed. I think that lightly weary either needs to take a lot longer to become lightly weary, so it puts off the penalty for a lot longer than it currently does, or lightly weary should have no penalty attached to combat. Because basically you get lightly weary over everything and very, very quickly during the day, and then a 25% penalty is a huge penalty for something that is you're very lightly weary. So I do think that needs to be resolved. I noticed this recently. I don't think that that's really an acceptable level. I think 25% is too much. So that is also going to make it harder for us to kite enemies unless we're sprinting, because each attack is going to take us a lot longer than it normally would. I don't know if we have disinfectant here. I think it's probably in our car. So let's go treat our wound. And really, if I were smart, I would just settle in and read for the rest of the day. I don't think that us spending our time... Oh, and we were going to go tonight and grenade that turret. Maybe we should just chill for a few hours. I could fit it in this... No, we're at 20 minutes. We'll have to do that next episode. Let's find our antiseptic and take care of our bite wound. Apply hydrogen peroxide, right leg. Anyway, if you went like traditional publishing, you would interact with a lot of editors. They would send you from person to person to person. They would do lots of different things. Basically, if I were going to self-publish, I would need a developmental editor, and what that person does is basically understand your book from a macro perspective. They'll help you with character arcs. They'll help you with the plot development, making sure you have the right structure to your novel. You know, they'll help you punch up any scenes that are maybe not the right energy, that kind of thing. And so they do a lot of like the content work. Then you would interact with someone, I forget what it's called, I guess a copy editor, and then like a line-by-line editor and stuff like that. So, you know, the developmental editor is someone who looks at it from a very big perspective, like the broad sense of the story as a whole. And then you'll work with people who work much more on like the actual like line-by-line stuff. So like, oh, hey, in this sentence, you might want to use more of an action-y word, or hey, in this section, you know, you have too much in this list, it's a little unnatural, it doesn't feel quite right. And they'll work with you on a line-by-line basis. They'll help you understand, like, you know, dialogue and grammar and some of the more nitty-gritty type stuff. So, you know, editing is not a small prospect. It's something that would take quite a lot of time, quite a lot of money. Would, you know, you would work with multiple people. And it just sort of, it's a lot of work and it's pretty expensive to do that, you know, and I don't have the money to sink into it. And watching these videos where they're just like, oh, it was only $6,000. I'm like, lady, have you never been poor? No one says only followed by the word, you know, $6,000. It's not something that is ever uttered where I live, you know. Oh, it made me real sad. Made me real sad. I was very discouraged after hearing some of that. So I don't know. I'm also prone to depression and stuff. So I mean, it's probably just me being sad. You know, let's call the episode. I was going to read some, but I think in the next episode we will read until we get to nighttime. Then we'll go grenade that turret and hopefully get ourselves a nice big old pile of ammunition. Would be great. In fact, we should go down there during the day to get an idea of where exactly the turret is. But we'll figure that out in the next episode. For now, thank you for watching. Hopefully you had a good time. I'll be back with more Cataclysm in the near future. I'll see you next time.